Hey guys, it's Naz Sitar here. I just wanted to make a quick video. I wanted to talk to you about buying a property from the auction. Now, pros and cons about that. Now, buying a property in the auction can be a great way to jump onto the ladder, and it's a quick process if you know what you're doing, that is. So basically, when you go into a property, when you go into an auction to buy a property, you have a look. At the spec and everything, and you download whatever documents that there is, the legal pack, the home report, if there is one. There should be a home report, but if there's a legal pack or whatever, but you need to do your due diligence, and you need to do it really, really, thoroughly, because you can get to you can get a few nasty shocks basically if you buy something and you've done the wrong thing, and you've sort of just what do you call it? I don't want to say the word, but yeah, you could lose the money very quickly. So yeah, you settle within 28 days. What happens is if you buy a property, you have a look, you go in, the auctioneer is doing his bidding or whatever, it's online. I mean, we do a lot of online stuff obviously now. So you buy the property and the hammer goes down, and for example, to make the numbers easy, if it's for, say, it's £100,000, normally they take 10%, the auctioneer will take 10% right away for that property, and so you've paid a deposit of £10,000 straight away, and as soon as the hammer's down, guys, that is a deal done. The missus have concluded, as what we say here in Scotland. It's a legal binding contract at that point, so you must settle within 28 days. Generally, that's the general rules anyway. And when you do buy a property from the auction, and it's not actually on the auction as well, they can put these conditions in as well and say that you're buying it in auction conditions. Now that's what that means. 28 days, you've got to pay the balance. Now people will often say to me, look, well, I'll go and get a mortgage and whatnot, and we can do it that way. That's really, really tight. You won't get a mortgage within 28 days on an auction property. It's really difficult to do that. You could do bridging, you could do other kind of sourcing, crowdfunding, whatever, but bridging probably is the best one, or obviously cash. But you have to settle within 28 days. Now, if you think that this is, obviously we're talking about buying, we'll talk about selling in a minute. So the pros of buying is obviously the property's there and you don't have to go out and you're not fighting with other people, and it's not like a closing date or anything like that. There it's there, it's done. As soon as the hammer's down, it's yours. That's it. There's no ifs or buts. The property's yours. You've paid the 10%. That's gone to the auctioneer. You have to settle within 28 days. Your solicitor has to do all of that. And there's no comeback. You can't ask any more questions about, damp report, or can we go back in and have a look at it, or can we do anything. It's done. It's made for quickness. Now, it's actually a great strategy if you know what you're doing, that is. So you can buy a fantastic property from the auction. We've all seen the programme Homes Under the Hammer, and it's a fantastic way, but you really need to know what you're doing. I've seen many people, and I've done it myself, made mistakes on the way and had a look, but you learn by your mistakes, and you learn, and it's an expensive mistake. So, yeah, what was I saying? So the hammer's down, you bought the property, you've paid the 10%, and then what happens? Then obviously your solicitor does whatever he or she has to do. The seller solicitors don't actually really need to do much apart from sign the disposition away. Once the papers are all there, you go in and sign the papers in 28 days, and the property is yours basically. But you've got to, within that time, come up with the money. Now, what happens if you don't come up with the money? You lose your deposit. Not only do you lose your deposit, but you can actually, say for example, that property you bought for £100,000. Now, you pay 10%, which is gone, and you can't finalise on a deal, you can't get the rest of the money, or you've changed your mind, or whatever happens, you walked away from it, you've lost £10,000, you think, no, you could lose a lot more, because if that property goes back into the auction again, which it will do, and it sells for, say for example, £80,000, they could come after you for the balance of the difference between 100,000 and 80,000. So they've actually effectively made a loss of 20 grand. They can come back to you and chase you for that as well, because it's a legally binding contract, and there are words for it, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, they can come back to you for that. So not only have you lost your 10 grand, they can come after you for another 20 as well. So be very careful when you're buying from an auction. Great strategy if you know what you're doing. Now, obviously, selling a property is obviously just the other side of the coin. I mean, a landlord could sell a property with a sitting tenant, for example, or he just wants to wash his hands with the property. There could be a number of reasons. I mean, we generally do that if we need to free up some cash quickly. We've got another deal happening, which we've got all the time, and we're thinking, well, we've got like 50k sitting in that property. If we sell that one, we can, you know, use the money for that one there or whatever it is. So it's not always doom and gloom. There's not always like a really negative reason why somebody's selling a property in the auction, but well, they can be, but you know, generally it can be the other way as well. Like, I mean, investors like us, landlords, have properties, and we're settling in something else, something bigger, something that's going to make us a lot more money in the future, or a deal that's happening that we can't, you know, sort of turn away from. And I've done that myself, you know, had a look at a deal, bought that, and then I've got something which, if we put it in the market, it's going to take 6-8 weeks. We can generally get a lot more from it in the market, but we need the money now. We need the money within 28 days, or, you know, whatever it is, time that we've got. So we'll generally put that on the market. Now, we do have properties coming and going in and out the auction now thing. So if anybody's got any questions about that, and anybody's interested in a turnkey investment, which we've always got as well, we've got properties that we've got sitting tenants in, and so basically you're getting an income from day one with a sitting tenant. That's another video for another day I'll make. But yeah, it's a fantastic strategy if you know what you're doing. So I hope that helps anybody who's thinking about buying anything from an auction. I hope I haven't missed anything out, but I've generally covered the key points: buying and selling. Selling, obviously, you know, people are selling their property quickly to move on to another deal, or they're just fed up, or the other thing is, obviously, the tenant might not be paying the rent. This is another thing you need to be careful of. The tenant's not paying the rent, and the landlord just saying, well, look, I'm just going to wash my hands off it, sticks in the auction, and that's it. What you've got to do is ask for statements, talk to the letting agent, who's doing the letting for that property. Is the rents up to date? Are they getting all the money in? Are there any arrears? And you can just double check all of that as well. So yeah, that is it, guys. If there's any questions, please leave a comment, and I'm really interested in this, you know, if anybody's got any questions in this, because this is something that scares off a lot of folks. So if you've got any questions, please leave a comment, and I'll get back to you real soon. Anyway, take care of yourself, guys. All the best. Bye.